Hey guys, so we are going to be trying to find the volume of rectangular prisms today. So last lesson we were looking at finding the surface area or the area, sorry, of a triangle and a rectangular slash parallelogram. So it's really important that you remember how to figure out volume or how you got to volume. So I mean area, sorry, how you got to area. So area, remember, is base times height. That's how you get the area. Area is equal to that. So this is going to be important. It's going to assume today that you understand this and you know this. So it's really important, if you don't get it, to go back, check up in your notes and make sure you understand that. Because our formula for today is going to be volume equals area times height. Or you might see it like this, area times height. And there we're going to be looking at a different formula, but for now we're just going to focus on these two. So I'm hopeful that you've read the textbook explanations as well. It gives a pretty good job of explaining it, and also watched the Google slides or went through them, because again I go through some examples as well. So I want to make sure that you've read through those and went through the slides before you come and watch this video. Now we're going to go on to an example. Now we have a prism. So I'm going to draw a quick, I'm going to sketch a quick prism. Pretend like this is a very nicely done prism. So these dotted lines, it's like you're seeing through. So in this example, I am going to give you the area of this bottom thing. And this bottom thing, or bottom square, not thing, this area is, let's say, is equal to 20 centimeters squared. And I'll give you the height. So the height, let's say, is 5 centimeters. Making it pretty simple. So we know the area at the bottom. So this is going to be really quite simple for us to figure out. So we got our volume. So our volume is equal to our area, which is 20 centimeters squared, times our height, which is 5 centimeters. So volume, this is going to be a pretty easy one, will be 100 centimeters cubed. Important that you put that cube there. So when you're adding, it's really simple. How many centimeters that you have in here? So the cube, you have 2 centimeters in there and another centimeter, so you get 3. Because we're working with a 3-dimensional object, so just remember that when you're cubing something, that it's 3D. So you need a 3 there. As you can see, it was a pretty simple thing. We just plugged in our numbers and did some quick multiplication. So let's do another really quick example of this. Again, this should be kind of pretty straightforward for you guys. We've done this before. Oh, I'm going to redraw this with, isn't a very good one. So here is our cube, or our rectangular prism. So let's do something a little different. So we have this area. Let's say it is 32.6 centimeters squared. And then our height. So our height, let's say, is 13.7 centimeters. So we know all these numbers. Just because there's a decimal, we shouldn't be scared, or this shouldn't make us nervous. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through this exact same steps. So our volume, remember what I told you yesterday, always important to put your formula at the top. So our volume is equal to our area times our height, or if you want to write it like our volume is equal to area times height. So either one works. So we're going to start plugging in the numbers. Our area is 32.6 centimeters squared. And we're going to times that by our 13.7 centimeters. So this is our height, and this is our area at the bottom here. So our volume, I don't know this off the top of my head, so I'm going to do a quick calculation. Remember, you guys can use your calculators for this part. So we got our 32.6 times 13.7. So we get a total number of 446.62 centimeters cubed. And again, this ends in two decimal places, but if we have 3, just round that number up or down. So our total volume, so if you were to fill this up, you would have 446.62 centimeters cubed. So that is just kind of one of the methods that we were using, or one of the formulas. So in your assignments, you might see something like this as well, where it doesn't give you the area. Wow, that is a bad cube. So I'll give a different one. That's nicer. So something in your assignment might look like this. Again, let's imagine that this is a perfect rectangular prism. So it might not give you the area, it might just give you some random numbers. So you might see, like, let's say you might see a 7 centimeters here, you might see a 6.2, and then let's say this is a 3 let's say 7. These are all centimeters. So you might be thinking, how am I supposed to find this? It doesn't give me the area like the last example. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be timesing these all together. So our formula is, I believe it is, I always get these kind of mixed up. So I think it would be our length times our height. Just give me 1 second. I'm looking these up. So it would be our length times our width times our height. And that will give us our volume. So our length would be the 6.2 centimeters. Our width, oh, sorry, I have that mixed up. Oh, just trying to figure this out. So our length would be, having some technical issues here, would be our 7 centimeters. Our width would be our 6.2 centimeters. And our height would be our 3.7 centimeters. So what we're going to do is we're going to add these. I always like doing it kind of in progression, so I know if I make a mistake. So I'm going to go my 7 times my 6.2, and that will give me 43.4 centimeters squared. I'm going to put those in brackets, and then timesing that by my 3.7 centimeters. And then I will get a grand total of 160.58 centimeters cubed. So as you can see, if I was to fill this up, that's how many centimeters cubed would take. It would take this many. And again, I only ended with 2 decimal places. Let's say if I was to get a third one, I would just round. So let's do that one more time, just so you can kind of get used to it. And remember, there's going to be a bunch of decimals in our lesson today. So let's say our height is 23.7 centimeters. Our width of our prism is, let's say it's 17.6 centimeters, and our length is, let's say it's 37.6 centimeters. So again, these numbers look a little bigger, but we're just going to be doing the exact same formula, which is length times width times height. So we're going to plug those in. So our length would be 37.6 centimeters. Our width is 17.6 centimeters, and then our height is 23.7 centimeters. We're going to multiply these together. So our 37.6 times 17.5 would give us 661.76 centimeters squared, and then we're going to times that by our 23.7 centimeters. So that will give us a grand total of our volume of 15,683.712 centimeters cubed. Then we're going to reduce, we're going to round, and then that will give us, so we're going to round that. It will stay at 1, so then we have our centimeters cubed. So the answer for this one is 15,683.71 centimeters cubed. So we have all the base, we have all the width, the length, and the height right in this one, so we can just plug those into the appropriate place. And for this one up here, it will give us the area of the bottom, and we just kind of plug that number into that formula. So just a quick recap, our formulas, our volume is equal to area times height, and our second one was volume is equal to length times width times height. So you'll see in some of the assignment questions, it will give you the area. So when the area is given, use this one, use this formula. And when it's not given and you see 3 separate numbers, use this one right here. Hopefully this is kind of helpful for you and you're able to use these and apply them in the lesson. So you might see them as word problems as well. So if you need to, for example, let's just do a quick one of these so you guys won't have to do it in the assignment. So I'll just give you some quick examples. So from the textbook number 5, just to kind of help you out with a word problem. Let's see. So in the question, so I'll just write it out. A box of laundry detergent has dimensions 28 centimeters by 16 centimeters by 25 centimeters. So number 1 is going to ask you to sketch and label the box. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to sketch a box. I'm just doing this really quick. And then you're going to plug in the numbers. So this one's not going to be to scale. So as we know, when we're looking at this is going to be our length. So this will be 28 centimeters. Our width, oh, sorry, I messed that up. So our length is this one. So this is L, and that is equal to 28 centimeters. Our width right here is equal to 16 centimeters, and our height is equal to 25 centimeters. So using this, we kind of quickly sketched out what the cube should look like. And then in B, it is going to ask you what volume of detergent will fill the box. So what we do is, that's just asking us to find the volume. So we're finding the volume. So volume is equal to length times width times height, and we are just going to plug in those numbers. So our length is 28 centimeters, and our width is 16 centimeters, and then our height is 25 centimeters. And then some quick calculations. Give me 1 second. So we got 28 times 16, which will give us 448 centimeters squared times 25 centimeters. So that will give us a grand total. So our volume would equal 11,200 centimeters cubed. And again, we're going to circle that. So that is number 5. So that's how you kind of apply word problems. You take it out, and this one is just trying to get you to visualize the cube. So other ones might not ask you to draw a box, but if you're kind of still having trouble, just draw a box and plug in the numbers. So I will put the assignment on the Google Slides. So check there for all of them. So you won't have to do number 5, and there's a couple other ones that you won't need to do for today. There is quite a few questions that you have to do, so you're not going to do them all. So I'll probably get you to do around 10 of them. So if you have any questions, make sure you message me so I can get back to you. And if you have a question, make sure that you kind of go to the next one and work through the assignment and then come back to it and try it again. And if it's still not making sense, then send me a message. So I want you guys to actually get into the work and try it. And if it doesn't make sense, just don't give up right away. Come back to it and try it again. If it still is not making sense, send me a message. So hopefully this is helpful. And until next time, guys, so I'll be uploading a video probably tomorrow or the next day. I might give you some time to catch up on all the assignments. But until then, take care there, guys. And I hope everyone's being safe.